Just in front of the White House, where we have learned this morning that President-elect Trump will be returning. And for people who are just waking up this morning, just an hour ago, it was officially declared that Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. Joining us with more is Eric Ham, who has had zero sleep. He is a political analyst with CTV News, up all night and into the morning. Nice to wake up with you this morning, Eric.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, you expressed to us over the last couple of days that you were really uncertain about what the outcome of this could look like and which way it was going to go. And what's on everybody's mind this morning is how did Trump secure what J.D. Vance called the greatest political comeback of all time?
Well, he's right. And we knew that there were a lot of independents that were voting. We just didn't know where they were breaking. We knew there were a lot of women that were shaping this race. We just didn't know where they were actually going. Well, we got our answer to both of those questions resoundingly. What we saw last night was this was a monumental win for Donald Trump. He won women, he won men, he won Latinos, he even won a large portion of African-American men in many of those key battleground states. So, and not only was this a win for Donald Trump, but this actually is a mandate for Donald Trump because also they secured the Senate as well, and now it's still unclear which way the House is actually going to go. Which
of Trump's messages resonated with Americans?
I think what people wanted was, I think they wanted Donald Trump. I think this was...
Did they want Donald Trump, or did they want Donald Trump back? Did they just not want the Democrats?
I think this was a wholesale rejection of Kamala Harris, but I think more than that, I think the voters wanted Donald Trump. Look, people remember those 4 years that Donald Trump was in office, and we have to also remember that Donald Trump also lost re-election. And I think now that he was back, it wasn't like we heard anything new, anything different. It wasn't like he was a changed man. This was the same Donald Trump that came down that gilded escalator 9 years ago.
I remember.
And what we saw over the course of a year was that same man. Only difference was we saw that he had been convicted of crimes. We saw him liable for fraud, sexual assault, and we saw him nearly assassinated twice. But still, clearly what Americans wanted was they wanted Donald Trump.
What were some of the key issues that won this for Trump?
I think it was the issue of the economy. I think many people thought, and I was one who thought, that it would be reproductive rights that would actually undergird this election.
Sure.
Because we saw that in many of the special elections in the aftermath of the Roe versus Wade decision that was overturned by the Supreme Court. However, I think clearly what stood out for the American people was the economy. Many people believe that Trump was great for the economy, better than Biden and Harris, and they wanted that back.
Last night felt eerily similar to 2016, and I was in Times Square. I was in New York City in 2016. A lot of people starting to make the comparison this morning. What comparisons are you seeing between this vote and the one 8 years ago?
Here's what's interesting. I thought going into the election, it was going to be 2016. I just thought the roles were going to be reversed.
You thought it'd be for Kamala?
Yeah, I thought Kamala would win. I thought a lot of those close breaking battleground states would break for Kamala Harris because that's what the numbers were telling us. But clearly this was, I think, 2016 all over again. The only difference is Donald Trump actually won the popular vote, which makes him the second Republican this century to actually win the popular vote.
What does that say about what America wants?
I think what this says about America, and again, we talk about how ugly democracy is, how sometimes it can be messy, and irrespective of all of those things, last night, America spoke with their voice. They spoke with a collective voice. And today, Donald Trump in our democracy is rewarded. He's rewarded for that bluster. He's rewarded for that misogyny. He's rewarded for that racism. Because in a democracy, it's the people's voice that ultimately wins out.
Not you as Eric Ham, the analyst, but you as Eric Ham, the American. How are you feeling about this result?
I'm still trying to process this because I never thought this was who America would actually select, because there are so many ramifications that don't bode well for the United States, don't bode well for the world. I mean, think about Ukraine.
Yeah.
Think about Gaza. These are some of the things that we're looking at. We're looking at a Supreme Court who overturned Roe v. Wade. We know Donald Trump is going to potentially appoint 2 new justices. That's 5 Supreme Court justices that Donald Trump will actually get to place on the Supreme Court. He has, and also too, what Donald Trump has done with this victory, this is no longer the Republican Party. This is the MAGA Party now. So this is very different. What Donald Trump has done is Donald Trump has shifted the political landscape, I think, for a generation.
Well, it's gone from the apprentice to the boss.
Yes.
So there you go, twice.
Undeniably.
Yeah. Eric Ham, I want to thank you for your analysis,
Thank you.
for your lack of sleep, and for being with us here this morning. Thanks so much.
You bet. Thank you.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.